Good evening, good morning, good night, good second breakfast, whenever you are, wherever you are. My name is Laura González, and I welcome you to Lunatic Mondays on Circle Podcast. Today we have a guest, a very colorful, very beautiful guest. Her name is Pamela Chen. She's from Las Vegas. She works as a business, wealth, and money manifesting coach. She helps clients access opportunities from the quantum field of Akashic records. She is also the author of several books and tarot decks, including The Mandarin Tree, Tarot of the Owls, and Witchling Academy Tarot. For more on Pamela, you can visit magicalpam.com. And yeah, we are very happy. She's going to be talking about her book, Wealthy Witchery, with us today. And for those who want to see, because I'm saying colorful and all of that, you can watch the video within an hour. When we're done with this, the video will be available on my YouTube channel at 8 o'clock tonight. So welcome to Lunatic Mondays, Pamela. How are you?
Hi, Laura. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me on.
And tell us a little bit about you. For people that don't know you yet, it seems like you author very cool things and very useful for the community things. So, how did you get into witchcraft? You seem very very young, by the way. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, how do you get into witchcraft? That's gonna be a very short story, I think.
yeah. I'm actually 41 years old this year. I know I do look young, and I think I play a lot and work with a lot of the magic. That's the key, right? That's the secret. No. So when I started, I was very young, around the age of 16 or 14. I remember going into like Barnes and Noble and getting my first book or my first tarot deck. But it was really hard for me to understand because I was reading, but didn't understand what I was reading. And also at that time, you can't just go on Amazon and buy the stuff. Right? You actually have to go to find a metaphysical shop, which I didn't know how to. And so I was very interested in the magic. I believed in magic, but I didn't do anything. And so I was really interested. And what happened was I moved out when I was around 16, 17 years old, and I had to go to school and work and pay rent, and that was really hard. And so I was trying to find how can I live a better life, and I needed answers. And I went to a lot of psychics. And one psychic, thankfully, she was actually my first magical mentor. She was also a witch. And one day when my car broke down and I was stressing really hard because I was like, how am I going to get to work? I mean, it was an old car anyway, and I couldn't afford a new car. But I'm like, how am I going to make money? How am I going to get to work? How am I going to go to school? And I reached out to my psychic, and she was like, hey, let's do a money spell. And I was like, from watching The Craft, I knew we could like call on the directions or, lift people up, but I didn't realize that you can use money for yourself. I didn't real magic for yourself. I didn't realize that you can use magic and the elements to create the life that you desire. And so when she said that, I was like, yes, let's do it. And actually, it was me and a couple of my friends. We did a money magic. And a week later, the exact amount that I needed for to fix my car came in through like a random check, a job that I quit that I didn't know of. And so from then on, I truly believed in magic. And, she taught me some stuff and I started doing this stuff. But actually, I never felt the energy. Like, you know how I never felt energy or I didn't feel magical. I just knew that it worked. And I think this book is very in alignment of my purpose because money was really challenging for me, and I struggled and I was trying to survive, and so I was really focused on money. So I don't know if there are I know there's some, but being like a money witch or wealth witch is not a big thing out there, I found. And so, but it was brought to me because I needed money. I needed to make money. And so it was just like the one thing I devoted my magic to. And it worked out for me. But I couldn't feel the energy. And actually, when I moved from Vegas, to Vegas from Hawaii, I went to this holistic convention. I didn't know why, I just needed to go. And there was these ladies surrounding this crystal bracelet shop. And they were like, the energies are so great. And so I was like, I want to feel it too. And I went and I grabbed one and I couldn't feel anything. And I was, God, this doesn't work. And so actually, it was in that holistic fair that my first psychic development and also intuitive coach and Reiki master teacher, she pulled me into her booth and she was like, you need to work with me. And that was actually how I activated learning what energy was, manifestation, and how to really, truly, deeply work with my magic.
That is a wonderful story. And what I hear, and I'm happy to hear, is that it was always a person, right? There was a mentor, there was a guidance, there was a person that is there, kind of like holding our hands and teaching us how to do things. Because in this day and age, yeah, we have a lot of available information, right? Of course, we have books, we have the internet, we have all kinds of resources, right? Um, Even for people that, if that is your flavor, right? TikTok, Instagram, what have you. Information is actually, we have an overload of information. We have a little too much information. But the thing is, the human connection, right? That is still needed, I think, to have a mentor of sorts or a teacher or a guidance. And like I always tell my apprentices, you know, it's not that we are grandiose or we know more or we are, more magical. Is we just have a little bit more experience. We've been at it for a little bit longer, and we messed up already so many times that we can tell you when to not mess up and do something. Um, and that's why it's so important that we still have teachers, and people that are teaching these things and learning from the source. How long were you with your mentors?
Oh, so you know what? So ever since then, I've always had a mentor. I've always had a coach. I knew that if I don't know something, the easiest path would to find someone who knows, and they transfer the knowledge, not only the knowledge, but also the codes that they hold, right? The energetic codes and the wisdom that they hold from their experience, like you said, but also from the mentors before them. Right.
Mhm.
So the gurus, the teachers, your mentors, they already hold all this energy. And when you work with them, it gets passed on to you. So I think I was with my Reiki master teacher for 2 to 3 years, I believe. And, this is back in 2003, 2005. So there was no online, there was no Instagram or YouTube and TikTok. And I feel like we're really lucky to have all of this information now, like you said, but also the books. I think that sparks a desire. But in order to go into that deeper practice and to really truly understand the wisdom, I do believe it does have to be some kind of oral form, and you're learning and you have to take action and you have to actually do this stuff. We can read all the books we want, listen to all the YouTubes we want, but if we don't take action, if we don't practice, if we don't have a daily devotion, then it's nothing. It's just a thought, right?
Yeah, I'm smiling from ear to ear, and I'm very happy that you mentioned oral tradition because I'm very honored when people have asked me, Laura, when are you gonna write a book? Laura, when are you gonna write a book? And I'm like, I don't write the books. I talk the books. I talk to people,
Yeah.
and I talk to the people that write the books. And I'm so pleased and happy that y'all are writing books. I only interview authors mostly, but the oral tradition. I'm indigenous from Mexico, so our people was about
Yeah.
oral tradition, and that's how you pass it. And it's about trial and error, and it's about that, and like you say, the energy that passes from one person to the other. Also the vibration, right? How important it is in our magic that we use our voice. And I have found with my apprentices that that is one of the hardest things to do, is to speak your enchantments or speak your um, intentions or speak with clarity of what you want. And oral traditions and people such as myself and others that teach, right? That is where that little good soup comes from, is from hearing them, from learning that cadence, and from then doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why I love my apprentices. Love them, love them, love them. And how much we learn from our apprentices as well, because you teach. Now you're on the other side. Now you
Yes.
teach.
Yes. And I do think it's really magical when you do teach and speak because I can teach you the systems from the book, but what are the group is going to bring into that session is very different. And, Alex, my business partner, Alex and I will start speaking on things that wasn't planned. Right? It's channeled through because this group needs to know, or it is time for us to know. And, your clients, your apprentices and our students, they are actually a reflection of us. And I found this out, right? Their challenges is actually a reflection of our own challenges. So as you are coaching them or mentoring them and working through the challenges with them, you're actually working on your own karmas and your own challenges and releasing and purifying your vessel. And so I think that is very powerful. And, we're all one energy. And so I think there is a reason why that person came to you. I do believe there's some kind of soul contract that was created before we came into this incarnation so that we can help each other out. And so I always tell our student, it's not, they're learning from us, but it's not like we're on a pedestal or we're not the guru, right? We're on this path together, and I always like to say like we rise together. And I think
Yeah.
that's very important.
One of my most seek out warning label that I give my apprentices, whether they are with me learning for for a day, for an hour, or for a year, right? Uh, if you find a teacher that tell you that they're done, that they know everything, that they are at the top, run, just run away, because the work don't end until you draw your last breath.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I have my apprentices and I tell them, when does the work end? And now they give it back to me, when we lost draw our last breath. And I'm like, yeah, because you always have room for improvement. And the understanding, I just say, yeah, we are one, our souls are connected, but we live completely different experiences, right? What we've been seeing for the last 10 months is like, yeah, we are one soul, but when we present ethnically different, we have very different experiences. And my experiences of brown indigenous women are completely different as a Hawaiian person, right? Or as a European American or any other person. So it also is an amalgamation of or huge differences that come into bring that magic and tie it all together, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's beautiful. We teach unity consciousness, and so it is the separation where we get to learn because that's what we're here for. And these polarities are created so that we can learn to come back and remember that we are one, unity consciousness. Sometimes it's easier than other times. But yeah, I do believe, and I do believe that as we are learning, as we are growing, we don't need to suffer. You can be wealthy. You can have the things that you want in life. You can have the material things because we have a physical body and that's what we came for. But don't forget about the practices. Don't forget about the spiritual, not just like the mindset, right? But it's about your spiritual beliefs and your spiritual path and your purpose, what you're here for. As long as you don't lose sight of that, then you're good.
Absolutely. And the book, of course, for those who are like, what's the book? What's the book, right? Because right now they're probably like, we want to hear about the book. The book
Yeah.
is called Wealth Witchery, Manifesting Magic, Money, and Success. Pamela Chen, author, foreword by Silver Ravenwolf. And it's now available everywhere that you get your books. And there are, like you say, they're far and few in between of the witches that work with some kind of wealth, right? I've been working with Fortuna, the goddess Fortuna, for
I
I don't
love.
know, like 4 decades, right? I came to her, she came to me rather when I was like 8, 9 years old. So it's like over 4 decades of work with Fortuna. And but there is this so many limitations that we put into our work. And for some people, whether it's witchcraft, Wicca, New Age, coaching, whatever, spirituality, Santeria, voodoo, hoodoo, whatever. There is this limitation of you shouldn't be making money with your gifts. You
Mhm.
shouldn't be making wealth with your gifts. You shouldn't be charging for your services with your gifts because your gifts are given by the divine, as you want to call it, but you shouldn't be wealthy. In my opinion, that is colonizer rhetoric that it was put on us not to seek wealth. And part of us seeking for that wealth is actually the colonization, right?
Yes.
Um, so, what inspired you to write this book?
Yeah, I really love that you said that. So I really do believe that, and we all know this already, that people talk about it if you're in the magical community or spiritual community, that the divine feminine was suppressed, right? Magic was suppressed because the elite knew that it was really powerful and that women were powerful, or, whoever was powerful creating these magic, the priests, the priestesses. And so what happens when they suppressed it? And with that, they also suppressed, like you said, the wealth, the making money, right? They kind of made having a lot of money a bad thing, and we're brainwashed throughout our times in our childhood. Like when you watch these cartoons or TV, they always make the villain, the CEO or the bad guy, right? Like Scrooge, right? Really, really mean, really, really grumpy. You're really greedy, and you're not supposed to be wealthy. And so that's like embedded in our the collective subconscious mind. And so what happens is we start believing that in order to be good, in order to be pure, we can't ask for more or more money, or we can't have money, or else we're bad, we're greedy, whatever it is, right? So again, these polarities, which, what inspired me to write this book is I'm very passionate about bringing magic and money to the masses, because I know for me, and maybe it was something that I had to live through, so that I know that money is important. Money is you being able to be your authentic self. Because
Mhm.
let's just say I want to live in this beautiful home, or, I want to color my hair, but I don't have the money for it, but that's how I choose to express myself, then that means you're not authentically you, right? In the physical form. And so it's actually you. Everyone talks about being authentic. And if you have the money, you can be authentic. And you can go out and be of service to others, because it's really hard to be a coach or a mentor or help others, donate to others, whatever it is, provide time and money when you're struggling yourself, which I was. I don't even think writing a book could have been a possibility for me at the time, because I didn't have the space. I didn't have the money, right? Writing a book doesn't make you a lot of money, by the way, right? And so in order to be on your path of purpose and to do the things that you are meant here to do, you have to get past, surviving, the survival mode. And so I was really passionate about sharing this, and also all of the practical things that I was able to do to get out of the situations that I was in order to quit 4 jobs and make money as an online coach and mentor, teaching magic, teaching energy, like, and having 12 publications. That's crazy. From someone who English is a second language, I went to 1 semester of college and had to drop out. Like, I just think it's possible for everyone, and I wanted to share how they can also do that.
Mhm. And there is the reality, right? Like you keep mentioning polarities, and we
Yeah.
have to accept, recognize, and integrate that those polarities are very real, right? Because the Scrooge in the book is one, the evil people, the super millionaires that are being evil in a reality. Scrooge is nothing, right? So that is not
Yeah.
even about money. That is about power.
Yeah.
And they are able to access that power and use it to control and to oppress because they have money. But it's
Yeah.
not the money, it's the
Yeah.
power. It's
Exactly.
because they're hungry for power. So the belief, right, that, oh, I don't want to be super rich because I don't want to be like one of those evil people. You're not going to get there because you're not oppressing people, because you're
Yeah.
not using your wealth. If you use your powers for good, you,
Yeah.
you're going to do good. And I appreciate the honesty, right? Like you're not making a lot of money with the book, but passing the information out is going to help you continue receiving. And then, it ripples. All the goodness, all the magic, all the gifts that we put out there, they ripple. And
Yeah.
we really need to do away with ignoring those laws of nature and denying the polarities or denying the things that are out there, and they're very real, right? um it's about power for those who do harm. It's not the money, it's the power.
Yeah.
And you can obtain power with money, but that's not the end, you know
Yeah. And can you just imagine all of the healers, your students, your initiates, all of them who have good intentions for the world, who wants to create harmony and bliss, all of these people who now hold the power and the money, how fast would our planet ascend then? And how much would we feel better, right? And so
Absolutely.
I think we're on the trajectory there. It's moving up. We follow, Alex and I follow the Vedic path. And so, what's written 5,000 years ago in the Vedic text, right, ancient text, it says that there's four aims of life, and one is actually money. They write money in there because they knew that that's just the resource, that's the exchange of energy that allows us to be on our purpose, to have the passion, the desire to reach our purpose and to fulfill what we are here for and to help others. And so that is very, very powerful.
Absolutely. And the thing is that abundance is our birthright. And if you ever, I tell whoever listens,
Yeah.
Pamela, if you ever want to see the fallacies of the world, is we call the global south third world countries,
Hmm.
when those oppressing stole everything from those countries. That's why they're poor. And they keep stealing. So
Mm.
there is no lack of anything.
Hmm.
Nobody lacks anything. It's just the distribution system is very corrupt. And we have to do whatever we can to connect back with wealth. Because one of the things that when I teach, about Fortuna, I remind people, when they want to put us on the mentality of scarcity, right? Recession, all these big words that, it's so scary. Um, Nobody told the bees that there is a recession. They still
Yeah.
producing honey. Nobody told the bunny rabbits to stop having babies, for the love of the gods. They do have all the babies in the planet. Um, Certainly, we have a abundance of snow when here in Chicago, January, February is like 2, 3 feet tall. So abundance is everywhere. Wealth is everywhere. That energy of having more than enough for everybody is everywhere. And yes, the world is being managed in a wrong way, but that doesn't mean we cannot connect with source, because it comes from source.
Yeah.
It comes from source. And I love your book. You have lots of sections on your book. Do you know how many spells are they on it? How many
Uh,
exercise? Or you call them rituals?
yeah, there's some, I'm not really too sure how many rituals there are. I want to say 13, but I'm not too sure. Maybe there's 13 chapters or something like that. Yeah. I
Okay.
feel like it's
I have
somewhere.
obviously I have the
Yeah.
unrevised version, and it doesn't say how many, but and then you call them rituals.
Yeah, rituals.
I love that.
Yeah, because they are to help you get the prosperity and the wealth. And I do other rituals, but I also have rituals that I love. And I do think that we need to stop ignoring money, right? Because if you ignore the existence of money or think that it's not important, guess what? It's not going to come in, because what we focus on is what we call in. What energy we focus on is what we bring into our life. And
Yes.
so I think it's very important that we do start talking about wealth and money in a positive way, though, right? Start spreading that and share how it could be. so happy and so fun, and having money, making money, spending money, saving money, all of these things are important. Sharing money and wealth with others. And I think that is very important to bring into your life because it's a big part of everything that we do basically. And so if you haven't really struggled with money, that's okay. You and I think that's why people who haven't really been down, right, in maybe the dark night of the soul with money, it might not be important to them because it wasn't a big part of their life challenges. And so not a lot of people, not everybody struggles with money. So it's common sense if they don't care about money, and that's okay. But that's what the past is. And since myself and a lot of my students actually did struggle with money, we realize how important it is,
Yeah,
how money can change your life. And so I think what I want to share with all these spells and ritual is that it doesn't matter who you were, what you did before, but it is the decisions that you make now. And if you choose to take action, work with the energies, do the daily practices, your life can get so much better. It doesn't matter where you are. Everybody, even millionaires that we work with, they have karma, they have blocks, and they want to get to the next level. We're always, like you said, we're striving for something more, for more wisdom. And so if you just tap into that magic, the wealth magic, and it doesn't only have to be about money. Abundance is everything, like you said, right? And that could just really up level your life, and you'll see things change. It'll look really, really nice and a lot of fun.
absolutely. And the thing about this book, if you have a general practice or if you don't have a practice, um, you compile a lot of things. There's a lot of information, right? So if you want to do a money spell, you don't have to go find a book of correspondence and then Google what the herbs are and then Google
Yeah.
what day of the week or whatever. She put everything in the book. It's all together, right? You have days of the week, how to use them. You have um, herbs, I think, and oils, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. Um, the days of the week that I've never seen anybody else doing the days of the week because I remember
Oh,
I teach that too, and I was like, oh my god, she's done the days of the week as well for on the correspondence of wealth, and and then there's a system to put it all together. I want you to talk about that system because I really like it. You kind of go through, I think there's 4 phases or 5 phases, right? Where you see it, then you put your emotion into it, and then you finally materialize it. Tell us about that little system. The big
yeah. Yeah, the big system. So the Ridgecraft system. So first, I do believe in the book I talk about the 4 realms of manifestation, how tapping into the 4 realms, the mental realm, the energy realm, the emotional realm, and the physical realm to manifest is very important. I used to just manifest with my mental realm mindset. Now that's really powerful. It can get you places, but my manifestations were not consistent. It was like sometimes you get the big thing and sometimes you don't, or you can like manifest a parking spot, right? And so through the 20 something plus years, I've discovered all these other realms. And so in this Richcraft system, which is also the format for the 21-day manifestation system we use in our manifestation program, it shares with you how you can incorporate all of the realms. And it starts with clearing your energy. So a lot of people start to call in stuff and start to manifest without clearing their energy or space. And it doesn't come in because your energy, your mindset, your beliefs is already full of memory. The memory is full, right? Just like when you take too much pictures on your phone, the memory is full. You have to delete stuff. And
Mhm.
so, not just from childhood beliefs and memories that we were programmed or from TV, but it's also from right now. Every single day we come in contact with someone or something or the energy around us that is feeding us information. Those are easy to clear because they're new. So you could just kind of like swat them away. The
Mhm.
deep clearing is when you have held on to that new belief and you made it your own and you started subconsciously repeating it over and over and over, and it's not even yours, and it goes inside of your body. And that can actually also cause the physical symptoms. like sickness. So that comes from, unlimiting negative belief that it
Mm-hmm.
went so deep. And so we have to clear our energy. And so this is a daily practice that you can do. It doesn't have to be over 15 minutes. If you want to go longer, right? And I think the more wealthy you get, the more time you have, and the more time you'll want to work on you. But for now, like when I was working 4 jobs, I didn't have an hour. I did mine
Okay.
in like 10, 15 minutes. And so what you can do is clear your energy first. And the book tells you how you can clear your energies. Of course, there's other ways to clear your energy. I just gave you some examples.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you can do after is call in gratitude. So gratitude is a very powerful, powerful energy. And so when we are able to love who we are right now, love the things around us, right? Feel already who we are when we achieve that thing, that's when you attract it, right? The law of attraction, the law of frequency. So we have to vibrate and feel and be the same energy as the thing that you want. So let's just say, okay, I'll give you another example that's not money. Say you're looking for your soulmate, but you feel something is missing and you can't love unless you have that person. Well, that's lack, right? If you feel the love, if you feel whole first, then you're going to attract your soulmate into you. And so we have to be grateful for what we already have around us. And then you get into the really fun part. I do teach wealth scripting. I actually, oh, it's somewhere here. I do wealth scripting. So I do it myself every single day. On the video, you can see you just write out your future reality as if it has already happened because our brain does not know a memory versus something that we are creating now. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just writing it's, a year from now. I usually like to put for a few months. I am so happy and grateful. I already have. And then I write down all the things that's happened to me in that year. And I do this every single day. Sometimes it changes, sometimes not. And then you want to visualize it. So visualization is very powerful. If you don't know how to visualize, it's very easy. It's just like imagining. So I think people think you actually see something in front of you, and it's not that. So if you were to close your eyes and imagine a pink unicorn, that's it. That's imagining. That's visualizing. That's taking a journey. That's what you see in your inside of your mind. And so you want to see the exact moment where you have achieved that thing. So let's just say, for example, when I go on a trip, when I'm manifesting a trip, for me, it's not buying the ticket. Some people might be. That's like, yeah, locked in, I'm going. For me, it's not even getting on the plane. For me, it's actually going into the hotel room or checking into the Airbnb or whatever it is, stepping into that space. I don't know why. That's just how I actualize it. So you need to pull up the visual of when you have gotten that thing at the last moment. And then you see it, you feel it, you hear it, you're there looking from your own eyes, and you lock that in. And then what I like to do, I don't know if I wrote this in the book, but I like to just blast all of this into the universe. If you know any energetic modalities like Reiki, or Alex and I certify the Awaken Bliss codes or anything, we like to infuse the codes in our journal, in our vision, and just kind of open the portal and send it into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and basically that is something that you can always add. Chanting is very powerful, or invocation, speaking it out loud, whatever it is that draws you into magic.
I really love what you talked about earlier when you say gratitude, right? Because we tend to forget to say thank you, right?
Yeah.
To say thank you for, I mean, if you have 15 minutes to meditate,
Mm.
the first line of gratitude will be like, I'm grateful that I have 15 minutes to sit down
Yeah.
and relax, right? Especially if you're a parent and if you have little ones or whatever, there are some people that have more access to free time than others. But it is a practice that it kind of goes into the wayside in which we are just grateful if some big emergency
Yeah.
suddenly was covered. Oh, thank you, God. I was able to cover this and that. No, you got to be grateful for you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
You have a cup of coffee. I don't know. You know what I've been hearing lately? Lots of crickets. For some reason, there's a lot of crickets outside my windows at night. And I'm so grateful. I am terrified by bugs. It's a
Oh,
phobia. It's a phobia. It's a full-blown phobia. But I'm so grateful that I can hear them. I don't have to see them. I don't have to touch them. They don't have to be jumping around me. God will send me, But I get to hear them. And there's a bunch of them. There's more than one because you can hear their sound is loud. And and that's wealth right there. That is
yeah,
abundance. That is a reason to be grateful, because on top of everything, the conditions are ideal. I don't have to see them. That freak me out. They are not jumping around me. That freak me out. So, I'm grateful that I get to see it. And one of the things that I tell my apprentices, Pamela, is if you don't learn anything from me, if none of what I'm telling you about good fortune, fortuna, the system, etc., if none of that works, take 2 words from your vocabulary. Just 2 words. Take them out of your vocabulary. I'm broke.
mm,
Just stop saying that.
yeah,
Because the reality is, when you put those words, I usually, I'm teaching here, like I don't mean those words. They
yeah,
never come out of my mouth. Because like you say, right, we imprint our energy and everything that we do, everything that we create, the things
yeah,
that we visualize. And then if we answer or if we say those words, instead of saying I'm
yeah.
grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. I love that is so infused into these practices. And the book, my friends, is filled with rituals. I really like the one with the simmering pot because that's
Yeah.
something that we do in Mexico as little kids, right? You have the simmering pot for healing and for wealth and for abundance, usually at New Year's. Um, but there's, fame and fortune spell, and pardon me, you call them rituals. There's a bunch of different techniques that you can use in this book. There's a whole bunch of references, and there's a lot of the mindset to get into that space that you put together in this wonderful book, Wealth Witchery. Pamela, what is important that you tell us about the book that I haven't asked you?
I think you were really, really good, and I think you asked me a lot. I think the most important thing is to do it, like what we talked about earlier, not just to read the rituals or read the mindset stuff and the practice, but also implement that, right? And you don't have to do like 10. I actually wouldn't suggest you to do that, but I would take it if you've never done magic before, if you've never done any mindset stuff, do one thing at a time so you don't get burnt out, right? You don't have to do all of it. There's plenty of time for you to call in the abundance. Do one thing at a time, right? You're going to be raising your energy one level at a time. And yeah, just be open. Don't try to figure out the how. How is it going to happen? When is it going to happen, right? Just know that it's happening and that you're holding on to the belief, you're clearing every single day, and you're really grateful for what you already have. And more, even better, is coming, but you are already grateful now and happy now. I know that might not be the easiest thing to do. Firsthand, when I didn't actually have the money, it was very hard to stay grateful when, you didn't have the physical thing. But that is the challenge. That is how you quantum leap. Before a big breakthrough, before you break through, there's always some kind of breakdown. There's always a challenge. Now, we can make it as big as we want in our head. Sometimes it's not even such a big deal, right? Sometimes if we have the mindset work, if we have the tools, we're able to move through it in a really flow, easy way, and you begin to see the solutions. And so it's really important to work on that mindset, right? Because what you perceive is very important. So you're not making like a small thing into a big thing, and you can get through it easily. And so if you're having not such a good day, let's just say, that day, all the challenges that's happening, all the karmas, you're working through it so that you can have those miracle days. You can have those abundance days. And when you're in those days where you're just like, oh my gosh, I won something, I got money coming in, those are your miracle days. And if you're in it, that means all the work that you've done, those challenging days, this is your reward, and plant more seeds for the future. What else do you want? How much more do you want? And just keep going, because we're limitless. And so
Yeah.
keep growing and growing. Yeah.
I've been thinking all this time that we would be blah. All this time that we have been talking, I've been thinking which anecdote should I share with you and with our listeners of how when you get yourself in the mindset of these things, it works, right? When you do the work, it works.
Yeah, it works.
And I just I have to narrow it down, so I decided to share this one with you. This happened like 10 years ago, and I'm, teaching my Fortuna classes and this and that. And my apprentice at the time is a mother of three. One of the children is disabled, and she is the caregiver for her disabled child. And she don't have a formal job. She don't have a 9 to 5. She all she does is cares for her child, adult, very disabled child. And we were talking, in class, and we were talking about the abundance and the affirmations and the visualizations and this and the that and the other. So she comes back to me. She just moved to this new place, right? And she's telling me, things were hard. It's a basement apartment here in Chicago. There's a lot of that. And the the owner of the house that is renting them the basement tells her, "Don't worry about a couch. That couch there is yours.
Mm.
I gifted to you. That's your couch. You don't have to worry about buying a new couch." So she comes back to class and she tells me, "Oh my God, Laura, can you believe that he gifted us the couch?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Yes, I believe it, because when you get into the flow,
Yeah.
that's going to happen." But wait, there's more. A couple of days later, she's telling me, "I don't know how I'm going to manifest more money, more wealth, when my income is tied up to me being a caregiver to my daughter." And I was telling her, "I assure you, I promise you, it's going to come. You don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to come." So her son, her little boy, loses a toy car on the cushions of the couch.
Mm.
So they have to turn over the couch to get the car. And she finds $100
Wow.
in the cushions of the couch that she got just gifted.
Mm.
So she comes back to the class and she's like, "Oh my God, oh my God." I'm like, "Hey, that is wonderful. By the way, I have her authorization to share all this. Don't you think I'm just gossiping here?" Because she's one of the examples, one of the success stories that we share with people. And so with those two things, the couch and the money, she was already elated, right? She was on the moon, over the moon, and she was so very happy and la la la. Well, a whole month goes by, because that was the structure of our program. And a couple of days before the program ends, she comes to me and she says, "You're not going to believe this. This almost never happens. This type of stipends almost never change." She got a raise.
Oh, wow.
She got a raise from being her daughter's caregiver. The government assistance gave her a raise. So now she's making
Incredible.
permanently a little bit extra, And I know magic works, Pamela, because I know, we all know that if you work, it is going to work. But to be able to see how it materializes in other people, how other people are able to grasp it, right? And this is not a person that was into magic. This is not a person that is, like you and I, into tarot and this and that. She just needed money, and that's why she signed up to my class. And then that's what happened. So I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you because it really is truly absolute truth that when you tap into that energy, everything can happen.
Yeah, I also love how you're sharing money magic and you're also helping all of your apprentices. I think that's super beautiful. I 100 100% believe, because a lot of, and I did put some stories inside of the book about how our students, single mom, had no job and all of this, and they didn't believe in, you don't have to believe in magic. I think you just need to have some sort of belief. And if you don't have it yet, you can borrow Laura's belief. You can borrow my belief. It's that belief that's just going to get you there, right? And then once you get there, though, you're going to believe in magic.
I tell people you don't need to believe in Goddess. Goddess
Yeah.
believes in you.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
believes in you. Anyway, let me take a minute here to pause. I can't believe we're almost at a 45-minute, almost close to an hour now. But anyway, let me carve a minute to share with everybody about Circle Podcast. We have an average, let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, an average of 10 shows per month, right? So on Tuesdays, 2 Tuesdays a month, we have Circle Talk with Deborah Rose. One Wednesday a month, we have Circle of Nature with Selena Fox. 2 Thursdays a month, we have Urban Witches with Dia and Kyler. 2 Fridays a month, we have Songs of the Pagan Tribe with Kern Greenman. And 2 Saturdays a month, we have Paganos del Mundo, Pagados del Mundo, our multilingual show that airs on Spanish and Portuguese. And then, of course, on Mondays, once a month, we have Lunatic Mondays with yours truly, Laura González. So you can find all of these shows if you go to Circle Podcast, to circlesanctuary.org, and then you find the Circle, the podcast, or you can find us on Spreaker, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on iHeartRadio, you can find it wherever you get your podcast, do Circle Podcast, or find directly each show. I know all my Lunatic Mondays for like, I don't know, 8 years, 10 years are all on Spotify. So you can find a plethora of information there. And all this work is volunteer work. All of us have enough wealth and enough time and enough money to be able to volunteer this time to share all this wisdom and knowledge with you. And in exchange, what we ask is that you listen, that you like, that you follow, that you share, and also keep us working, right? Bluewitch.org, that's where you can find me. Bluewitch.org. Blue as in the color blue, witch as in what I am. Bluewitch.org. You can find all my classes, all my lessons, all my podcasts. There's free stuff, there's stuff that you have to pay. There is actually a abundance affirmation booklet that I think is there for like $10 on my website. And or you can send us tips, or you can show your gratitude whichever way that you can. Reminding people that I'm still doing the Colonizing the Goddess series. That is a series of classes in which we are talking about Mesoamerican deities that we do once a month. You can come to the live class, or you can buy the recording. Once you have access to the recording, once you pay for it, you can have access to it forever. I don't stop the access. And I don't know anybody else that does that. Most people stop the access after a month of the class being out. I don't care. You already paid me for the work. I already did the work. You can access the class whenever you want. And they are already pre-recorded courses on spells work, and there are a pre-recorded course on tarot, and or you can come to me to be a one-on-one private apprentice, and all of that is going to be on bluewitch.org, and that's where you find all my goodies that you pay me so I can keep doing podcasts, and that's how we keep the abundance going. Pamela, where are you going to be going this winter that we are about to start winter, and where can people find your information?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram, Pamela Unicorn, and I promote every single day. No, I'm just kidding. But all of my stuff is there. The link is in my bio. You can access that. There's actually a free gift for Wealth Witchery. It's called Abundance Alchemy, where you do get some extra energy upgrades and amplification, and it's free. That's inside of my bio in Instagram. And right now we are launching our academy, which is a certification for witches, psychics, healers, spiritual entrepreneurs and leaders, and who wants to take their practice to the next level, who wants to create miracle style results for your clients and yourself. We certify you in 8 really powerful modalities like Reiki Master, Awakened Bliss codes, mindset stuff, definitely 100%. So a lot of stuff, Akashic Records, a lot of stuff that I write in the book, and these are the 8 things that I use for myself. I was doing this for my clients, and what happened was they were all like, they wanted it. And so Alex and I was like, okay, that we had to create this academy for our clients so that they can go out and spread the energy, the abundance with their clients. And so Alex and I train the next generation of leaders to become powerful energy masters, and we would love for you to join us. We have these amazing retreat weekends that we just gather for 2 whole days online, and you get the most profound spiritual insights. You get downloads, you get these heightened energies, and it's just like the deepest meditative journey you've ever been on. You get activated with the Awakened Bliss codes, and so that you can go out now and start manifesting and start creating the life that you want and helping others. And so we're really excited for those that are being called and want to take their spiritual practice, your magical practice, to the next level. Yeah, and you could just go Instagram, DM me. I'll probably have the link in my bio already, but if not, you can DM me and be like, hey, I want more info about the academy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much for being on the show
Thank you.
today. It's been so much fun to talk with a colleague that knows about these things. Like you say, that mindset is not very common. Um, but we have to dismantle all the lies, right? And we have
Yeah.
to continue doing the work. And that's why it's important that we keep forming more people, a group of army, dedicated army, wealth people. I don't
Yeah.
know how to call it. Army is not the right word, but I don't know. A community of wealth, witchery people. So thank you for being on the show. And to everybody who is listening, thank you so much for being here. I give you the microphone so you can say goodbye to your audience.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. Thank you, everyone. I was so happy to be here, and it was an amazing, amazing talk with all of you. And hopefully, I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. My name is Laura González, and until we meet again, never forget that you are loved. Bye bye. Oh, and go watch the video. You heard us talking, now go watch us talking.
Go watch the video.
Bye bye.